I'm going to call to order the meeting for the Town of Harwich Board of Health meeting for Tuesday, August 16th at 6:30 PM, Harwich Town Hall, Don B. Griffin Room. Is there any public comment?
You gotta make the,
Oh, right. As required by law, the town may audio or video record the meeting. Any person intending to either audio or video record this opening session is required to inform the chair. Call to order. All right. Now, is there any public comment? Anybody online? All right. The next thing is our minutes from the meeting of July 19th. Does anybody here on the board have comments or questions? And I'm going to start with Kevin.
I do not have any corrections to the July 19th minutes.
Okay.
I don't have any corrections.
Ron?
Nope.
And I don't have any corrections either. Okay, do I have a motion?
I'll make.
Motion to accept the minutes for Tuesday, July 19th.
18.
July 18th.
It's 18.
Sorry.
I'll second that.
Second? Motion? Vote?
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Okay. That didn't go the way I expected it to. Okay. The Board of Health work session. The first thing is for Katie's update. Board of Health
Okay.
work.
So this week, the state decided to align their recommendations with the CDC. If individuals now have COVID-19, they have to isolate. They will test on day 6. If they are negative, they're allowed to be released from isolation. If they are still positive at that point, they have to remain in isolation until they test negative. They've also changed the recommendations for those who are close contacts. You no longer have to quarantine at home. You're allowed to remain out in the public as long as you wear a mask. They recommend that you test on day 6, and as long as you're negative, you can remain wearing a mask in public for the 10 days. A new vaccine has been recently approved in Europe. The states believe that we'll likely have it approved sometime in the fall. It would be a booster for some of the other variants that we've been seeing, but we'll know more later in the fall. Your packet also has an update from the state on vaccinations. We hope to have a flu clinic with booster clinic this fall that we're working on scheduling right now. And that is my COVID update.
Any comments? Matt? Kevin?
I don't have any comments.
I just have one. The update from CDC, is there any way we can put some of those updated guidelines on the website in case people have any questions? What are they?
It's already on our list to do. We'll
Okay,
get to it this week, I promise.
okay. All right. Next on the agenda is the discussion for the revision to the animal regulations. Since we've had so many discussions already on this, and it's going to be coming up in front of the, have a public hearing for it.
The tobacco was next. Did you want to
We'll do
skip
tobacco
ahead?
next. Tobacco.
It is next. I'm sorry. All right. Let's back up. The next one is the Board of Health discussion on the revisions of the restricting the sale of tobacco products. So for the board, have you looked through this, and did you have any comments or questions? And I will start with Kevin.
I did just have a couple of questions, I guess. One in regard to the definition of liquid nicotine container. So that doesn't include ones that are like pre-done by companies, that they have to be ones that people are filling on their own.
Where are you?
In the definitions, bottom of page 4.
Oh, liquid.
I mean, all the vape pens, people buy them, they buy a little container, and feels like that definition excludes those from,
So you want to include vape pen?
if ones that are, this definition here seems to only mention ones that people are like filling or getting filled on their own, rather than ones that are purchased, like, ready to go
Ready
from
to fill.
Yeah,
the
electronic.
nicotine companies. And I'm not sure why.
So the state code differentiates, they have an electronic tobacco, they have a separate definition for that we don't have in ours. So we could add in that tobacco.
Either to be able to add that in, or make it so that, you know, those are included in the definition of a liquid nicotine container, because I feel they should be there.
Yeah, the state does have a separate definition for those.
All right.
There was one,
Do you have that?
The state, yes, yep.
and it's entirely possible that I just need to pay more attention. I'm a former smoker, so I don't sit there looking at those pictures all the time anymore, but the signage provided by the Board of Health to disclose current information about smoking cessation, certainly totally behind that. Can't say that I noticed it, but also can't say that I've been looking for it either, so.
So that's actually one of the state required signs, and if you
Okay.
look closely, they're actually there.
Okay.
Are they actually in the places, because I don't smoke, so I don't go in those tobacco places.
And
So
if when
they're in
we,
there.
when we go and do an inspection, if they're missing, we do give them the sign and we have them put it up while we're there.
All right.
And then the only other one part of this that I had a question about was page 8, about halfway down in 10C. Any permits surrendered by a retail tobacco store, either because the retailer fails to renew the permit within the time set forth in this regulation, because a retailer closes its business, or because the permit is revoked, shall be returned to the Board of Health and shall be permanently retired by the Board of Health, and the total allowable number of tobacco sales permits shall be reduced by the number of retired permits. Does that indicate that the town is, like, closing off to any new business entirely?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's why those two numbers in A and B have changed, because
Yep.
those permits have been returned, so they'll be eliminated.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that was previously,
Talked about.
probably before you were on the board, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Hopefully reduce it to 0.
yeah.
I'm with you.
Anything else?
No, that was it as far as this goes.
Okay, Matt,
Nope.
Ron?
Nope.
The only other things that I have are more or less like a cleanup, like on page 11, where under 2A at the bottom, where they have the new typings that are put in there. My suggestion was just to separate out where it says not related to the sale of flavored tobacco or sale to a minor, and they list the fine of $100. And then where it then said, in the case of the first violation, make that a separate line, just for clarification, not that we're changing any wording, but just move it, you know, as a separate line as you're reading it. And I was going to do this, would have done the same thing for B, C, and D. I just thought it was more or less for clarification.
Yep.
So you want it spaced out by time?
In other words, like, just hit return there, where after the $100 fine, hit return, and it's going to start a new sentence that says, in the case of the first violation of a sale of flavored tobacco product or sale to a minor, in the case of the first violation.
Do you want two separate sections of regular violations and then violations for sales to a minor and flavored tobacco? Do you want like a two separate?
Yeah, all right. Yeah, no, wait, in the case of the first violation. Yeah, in other words, just, I guess what I was looking at is so it's not like running on. Just to make, to me, it would have made it easier to read. And maybe that's me. I don't know if everybody else was having.
That would make it more serious too.
Yeah.
That if you sell to a minor, it's,
Yeah.
you know, big deal.
Anybody else?
So we actually had a call today with the Tobacco Control Program Director, and the state does have a draft available that they were gonna try to get out to us, so I'll bring that before the board for the next meeting. We
Okay.
didn't receive a copy of it yet.
All right.
Sounds good.
And the only other thing that I had was on page 6, under D2, just to move that required signage down one space, so it's right there at the A, B, and C,
Sure.
instead of up underneath 1, even though it says 2. Again, it's strictly for clarification.
Yeah.
Any? Nope. All right, so that was, all right, do I have a motion?
I will make a motion.
No?
No, you don't need one.
Oh, we don't?
Well, you're not adopting these yet, because it's just a work session.
Just a work session.
It's just a work session, okay, so
So
that's,
you don't have to take any action.
so will that come back then?
You will bring it back.
Okay.
Yep.
All right,
We'll bring it back for one more work session. You can see the state's recommendations, and then we'd have to go through the public hearing process.
all right, okay. We will get there, all right. All right, now,
Animals.
the animals. As I was saying before, the fact that we've had so many sessions on this already, and the fact that we don't have a lot of board members that to fill in all the animals like we had discussed, that this basically is what we're looking at. And then when we have the public hearing, I guess it's a public hearing? Then, we'll go from there. So, but was there any, from the board, is there any comments on the one we have in front of us?
No, I think we've reviewed this enough and gone over it. I think we're all in agreement here. I know we've been asking about the agricultural
What's
committee
going-
and
why-
looking for that
Why?
public input, but
Have they not even showed up? What was the story with them?
They didn't post an agenda or posted it incorrectly each time.
What,
Yeah.
send the police?
so I
down?
guess we get their input in
In
a
a
crash
public-
course during the public hearing.
Matt, any comments?
Nope.
Ron?
Nope.
And I'm good. So we aren't.
So you want this to go to the public hearing?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So we'll send it out to all the.
So we don't vote on
permit
this
holders.
either, then?
No, you wouldn't take any
To move it.
action.
All right. All right, the Board of Health discussion on the December meeting. Does anybody have any comments? I'm going to start down there with Kevin.
I mean, I don't have any issues getting there, certainly not this far ahead of time.
Matt?
That's December I can make.
Oh, you're going to be calling in if you.
Yeah, then after that,
All right, that would be for December.
I don't have any problem.
Okay. I had a suggestion that we might have to look at, because I don't know that I can make that one, and I'm wondering whether we want to consider removing it altogether for December.
You can do that too?
In other words, just not having a meeting in December.
Do you have to have a meeting? in
We don't
December?
have, we don't have to, do we?
Do we have to have it?
No, you would have to have something in place that if there was like an emergency situation or, that.
So if there was an emergency, then, when I talked to Katie, then she and I could work something out
Yes.
and handle it that way. If something would come up, I
Yeah,
can.
if you want to, we can remove it from the schedule.
So is there, is there anyone that,
Unless you did the
No.
first Tuesday of the month.
Not opposed to that, but it's not an issue for me one way or the other.
is Ken not gonna be available?
you wouldn't, but you would be online.
I
So
be
we would
online,
have to
yeah,
have a
I'm gonna be
quorum
available, just
of
online.
people present in this room.
Yeah.
So you would need 3 people to be here.
I would
And-
definitely be able to make that. So,
And I'm not sure.
Okay, well,
So at what point would we have to decide on that?
I mean, I think if you looked at it September, it wouldn't be a problem, but I think the more time you can give the public, the better. I think if you wanted to look at it next meeting, that would be kind of your deadline if you were gonna
Would be
cancel.
the deadline. Do we want to make a decision tonight?
We might want to make it the first Tuesday?
I'm not sure I can make it.
Okay, so maybe
Can Pam make it?
you can't or can?
Well, can she?
He's,
I'm asking a question.
whether
Oh.
Pam can. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
And I don't know if the room's available. We checked on the 14th and the room is available that night.
Well, why don't we cancel it, and then if there's an emergency,
Then she and I can,
So you would have to vote to cancel it, and then you'd have to have a vote
Okay.
to have it handled by the chair and staff.
so that's two separate motions.
I would, just to be on the safe side.
All right, so, Ron,
I'll make a motion to cancel the December meeting, which is scheduled for Wednesday, December 14th, with the provision that if there's an emergency, we can check with Katie.
I'll second both of those motions.
okay. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, we'll update the schedule and get that up.
All right. Okay. All right, I'd like to, if it's all right with the board, move E to the end.
Okay.
So, moving to F, the Board of Health to vote on mask recommendations for special town meeting to be held on Tuesday, September 27th, 2022. Any comments?
I mean, I feel pretty strongly about it's just a recommendation.
Yeah,
Anytime we're gathering in large groups, I feel really be our duty to at least make a recommendation. I would even suggest that, I know one of the last meetings we had, there was at least one section that was kind of sectioned off for people who were really concerned and wanted, am I correct?
There was, I don't know if that will be feasible because this is such a smaller meeting.
Okay.
I don't know if IT would be able to do that, so I don't want to make any promises on another department's behalf.
Fair
I
enough.
would assume no.
okay. But people could, they can always wear a mask, and they can always sit
Absolutely.
aside.
Exactly, exactly.
And they will be spaced out again, the
All right.
That's
seats.
what they did at the town meeting. It was a
Even though
special
it-
room.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice if we can make that happen, but at the same time, yeah, a mask recommendation firmly behind.
I think that's appropriate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you agree?
I agree.
I agree. Now do we vote on that one? All right,
I
Make-
make a motion to recommend masks for the special town meeting to be held on Tuesday, September 27th, 2022.
Second.
vote?
Aye.
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 Did you
Okay,
get the second on that?
then go, the next one, I'm gonna go to G, which is the Board of Health discussion on the garbage can bylaw. Okay, I might ask Katie to help me with this. What was in the packet is the state,
So if you want me to give a little background
Yeah,
on
go
why
ahead,
this is
go
here.
ahead.
The Board of Selectmen referred this to the Board of Health to see if it was worth moving forward with a Harwich specific bylaw on garbage can. The memo here is something that I provided to the Board of Selectmen, and then for you, basically, there is already a state code in place, the minimum standards of fitness for human habitation, which is a state code that is enforceable by the health department. The section on storage of garbage cans and rubbish is already provided here. I personally don't think we need to have a specific bylaw in addition to the state code. We don't have enough staff really to even enforce. It's a lot of inspections. It's not just a single one. You have to go on multiple days. Personally, I wouldn't recommend having a bylaw in addition, but the board should definitely discuss it.
all right.
Has it been a problem in town?
We've gotten a few complaints over the years. I can't see it being a massive problem, but there's a few properties that we've gotten complaints of.
Kevin?
I mean, as long as the number of properties that we receive the complaints about are, you know, manageable within the level, I feel like leaving the state definitions, I think, you know, as long as we follow those, you know, I think that would be acceptable. Again, provided that the numbers aren't getting out of control. I know there was a couple things coming up on individual houses as we move on here later, even in this meeting, so.
Ron?
Well, if the state already, the difficulty I have is there enough people who go on the website to look at this stuff? That's the only question I have. In other words, how do people lodge a complaint rather than just coming down here or sending something in the mail? Is there something on the website now that people can get to quickly?
Well, they can
Understand.
email us. There's a button to
Okay,
email
there's a
us.
button, okay, all right, so. all
So
right.
I guess the complaints still come to the Board of Health. Then what do you do?
They come to the health department.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then what happens with it? Because I know we don't have enough people with.
So it goes on our complaint list. So we have an ongoing list of, we get a paper, we put it in, and it gets on the schedule. Complaints are not necessarily something we get to right away. You know, we're a small staff, so it goes, we have to prioritize. By the time we get to go check on a complaint, it's typically cleaned up. So if we get a complaint on a Monday that someone's trash cans were left out over the weekend, we can't get there till Thursday or Friday, they're usually gone.
So is there anything on our website that, that the town would understand that to get in touch with the department, the health department, but that that the bylaws are really, or the state, or.
Most of the departments know that if they called town hall, it could get to us if they had a complaint.
They had a complaint, all right,
Okay.
all right.
Do you get many complaints about trash cans?
Not a lot about trash cans being left out. I think we've had one over the past 4 years about the cans themselves. We get a lot of complaints about trash and what
Trash.
the definition of trash is.
What is the definition of trash?
It's actually in here, if you want it. It's at the bottom on the back.
All right,
There's garbage and rubbish, and they have separate definitions.
okay.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
So this one, we do need a motion, or we don't?
You could take no action, or if you want to make a motion to,
Yeah, well, would you make a motion?
yeah, it wouldn't be, you could take no action, or if you want to just direct me as your staff member to send a note to Board of Selectmen that the Board of Health is choosing not to take action at this moment.
Okay.
I can do that.
All right, that I think would make sense.
Yes,
Does everybody agree with that?
Yeah.
I agree.
All right. All right. All right, then, I want to go back to the discussion for us, the board, on how we want to get the packet material for distribution, that we have it in enough time that everybody has a chance to look at it beforehand. Our options are either, and we might have gone over this before, either digital or paper. But if we're going to do paper, can everybody get here in enough time that you have time before Tuesday to look at it? In other words, with your work schedules, can you, I don't know when you pick them up, so can you?
I picked it up yesterday, and I literally was up pretty late last night, and I was on calls last night, and I had my packet with me
All right,
in the ambulance.
so the paper works for you as well?
Yeah, the paper works. I mean, I typically, I mean, this one was available, Thursday. I work until 6:30 on Thursday.
Yeah.
So I can't get in, so it basically leaves me either Friday, if I can make it in here, or Monday. I did pick it up, kind of same as you. I picked it up yesterday and managed to be up.
All right, but you did have it, in other words, at least a day before?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can
Same.
get, all right, then we're going to leave it as a paper.
If that's what everyone wants.
We'll
Yeah,
leave that as
we're
a
happy
paper.
to-
Yeah.
All right, then the other thing that I wanted to get into with this is more or less conducting the meeting. After going to that I'm gonna call it a
KP
seminar
Law.
from the KP Law. A lot of that was like general overall policy. Ron was there. And I questioned Joe Powers, was there anything available that would give me more of a detailed mechanism on how to run a meeting, since I'm new to this. And he did provide me with some information that he had gotten from KP Law, and everybody has a paper copy of at least the one section that they did give me. So from that, what I was looking at doing was, for one, we have a clerk, all right?
Yes.
Ron's our clerk. And we're going to nominate him as the clerk to read those legal notices and to possibly make a motion. Now, in his absence, they could be anybody then.
Sure.
All right? And we don't, this is up for discussion. And then what I'd like to do is, once we get to a roll call, I would start with who's ever sitting down there. So, right, usually you sit, Kevin sits there. And I would say Kevin, Matt, in this case Ron, and everybody votes, and I'll vote last. I'd like to do the same thing with discussions, so that, and I'll be the first one to admit I was probably the one that spoke out of line or out of order before. So what I'm going to try to do is create an order so that the people online or sitting in the audience can follow the discussion as opposed to jumping all over the place. So that's my idea on running kind of an orderly meeting. Does anybody else have any comments of something that they feel that contribute to that, or something you'd like to see slightly different?
So, kind of in comparison, our union meetings at the fire station, similar thing, we have the clerk run and read all the minutes. He makes motions if
Okay.
necessary, and does the roll call too. And
Okay.
doesn't make the chair do the roll call.
All right,
If people have out of question, like out of order questions, they have to raise their hand.
and go through the chairperson. All right. All right, would you be okay with that?
That's fine. Let's try it and see how it works.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
let's see,
And if we have to modify it,
we have to tweak it.
we can
fine.
tweak it.
Sure.
All right, Kevin, how do you feel about that? Does that,
I can raise my hand. We'll go, my daughter's going to kindergarten. She's gonna have, I will set an example.
all right. Okay, I think that's really all I had to say on that, because I think that will help me
Sure.
in kind of running the meeting so that
Exactly.
it's somewhat orderly,
Yeah.
that everybody can understand it. At any point, if you guys feel that there's something you'd like to change, you can let Katie or me know that we can put it on the agenda, and we can, bring this up again. So, all right, we don't need a vote on that either.
No.
All right. Okay. There is no old unfinished business. The new business, what I was going to do was put the show cause hearing for 41 Plum Street Circle ahead of the public hearing for the bedroom. Is there anyone that has any problem with that?
The bedroom, right?
Pardon? Oh, you're there for the bedroom.
I don't think anyone's online either, so if you want to
All right,
keep it
we'll
in
leave
order.
it. All right, then we'll just leave it. Okay, all right, so, all right. Ron, you want to read that?
The new business to me?
Yes, the one for the show, the bedroom.
The public hearing,
hearing,
eh?
Okay. Public hearing to solicit public comment on the proposed Town of Harwich Board of Health local regulations to supplement Title V State Environmental Code bedroom definition for the purpose of sizing a septic system and for building permit review. Vote to accept.
All right, now, I open the hearing. And I will start with the first comment or question. Oh, no, he gets to speak first.
So he's from the public, so if you want to just start right away with public comment, you're more than welcome to do
Public
that,
comment,
or you can
public comment.
start,
Or is there a person,
not for this one.
not for this one?
The next
Public
one.
comment. Would you like to come up to the table or this, and just give us your name and address?
Yes, Mark McGowan from 6 Rabbit Run in West Harwich. First question I have, I guess, on this bedroom is that, is this something that is going to be decided tonight? Or does it go to, in other words, you can, go forward with it, but then give it to a vote for the town? Does the townspeople get to vote on it?
So you, in theory, could vote on it tonight. I would recommend bringing it back for another public hearing and just keeping this hearing this evening just open for comment, make revisions.
All right.
It's never good to rush these kind of things, but
All
the
right.
board does have the right if they wanted to.
So in other words, you don't have to go to the town for a, in other words, because this is kind of a bylaw, I would consider.
So bylaw would go to a town meeting. Regulations can be promulgated by the local Board of Health.
Oh, well, in that case, then I'll be here all night with you to decide to get you to flip over, because this one's a little, okay, to give you a little history, I'm a design build contractor. And in looking at what you've written here, it scares the living daylights out of me, because we design homes, we design small ones, but we also design big ones. But the bigger the ones typically have a study, have a office, and it's gonna be more than 70 square feet. Typically, they're 100 square feet. They could be, up to 200, 300 square feet. It depends on what is the client needs. And as I said, looking down through it, let me see, we have also media rooms that we use, and then as you'd be considering that a bit. And even like finishing off the basement, good God, I mean, we have lots of walkouts. So the fact is that those would all be considered bedrooms. And the fact is that it would be unjustifiable to take a home that truly only had 4 bedrooms, and yet they have an office or a study and things of that nature, that you're just adding additional expenses to the owners, and/or possibly wouldn't even be able to do the project, because the fact is that the amount of bedrooms would be too large, or would be considered too large for the property. On the second part of it was also removing doorways. You have everybody's into energy efficiency. That's all I hear. That's all I have to do every day. I'm worried about, putting an ERV or an HRV and this, that, and the other thing. I've got to make certain R values and all that. You say, oh, we'll just open up a doorway, put all these doors. We're zoning everything. All these houses are super, super efficient when they're zoned properly. But the fact is that if you say, oh, well, that's going to be considered a bedroom, so you're going to have to open it up. Well, the fact is then you lose this energy efficiency. So that's another issue that I have. Also, taking, for an example, I have a parcel of land that by right I could build a 3-bedroom home. I come to you folks with a building permit, or for an application for a building permit. You go to review it, and you basically have the right to turn around and tell me, oh, no, especially this paragraph, after reading it over and over again, you have the right to just say, no, we're not going to give you the 3-bedroom there. We might give you a 1 or a 2-bedroom. That's pretty powerful. And I'm sorry, I don't think anybody has the right to turn around and grab that kind of power and destroy someone's property. And that's why, the way it's written, it's basically a free-for-all.
What section are you referring to there?
I'm
Because it
referring
doesn't say
to
that
the
anywhere.
design flows, where it says, an applicant must design and install systems using design flows for the number of bedrooms determined hereunder, unless the Harwich Board of Health makes a specific determination after a public hearing that a system using design flows for a smaller number of bedrooms will not negatively impact the public health. So you're stripping the person's right to have that three-bedroom.
You're reading that the opposite way. So that would imply that they could have a design flow for a smaller amount of bedrooms than present. So the public hearing would be a variance that your septic system can be sized for a 3-bedroom when you actually have 4 bedrooms.
Okay, then I will read that continually over until I can get that, but the fact is that does not read that way, at least to me. And I'll give it to my attorney to see what his thoughts are, because, yeah, that's very ambiguous, and it doesn't set up for that kind of situation, because I'm an odd builder, because I believe in trying to make everything work. In other words, I don't force the issue and try to get 5 bedrooms when I know I can only get 3, that kind of thing. But yeah, that, as I said, I will actually have my attorney go ahead and read that, but, okay. But those, as I said, reading through this, and the way you've got it set up here in all of these other, especially 70 square feet, good God, we make walk-in closets that are more than 70 square feet.
That's Title V, that's the state code, so we can't go we can't
No, but
change
what
that.
I'm saying is that, so, I've made walk-in closets that are 140 square feet, have a window in it, ventilation, of course, because they're always ventilated, electrical, yes, that's all. So all of that, then you'd consider that a bedroom.
Not if you had to walk through the bedroom to get to it. So the definitions,
Correct, but the
Have
thing is,
not
I can
changed.
show you designs where we'll come into a foyer, and your bedroom goes off your bedroom, and then you go off to your, also to your walk-in closet. So the fact is, you're not going through that bedroom. You're actually, these are designs that, you're not taking into consideration, because those, when you have a, kind of like a foyer area, and then there's a wing goes out to the bedroom, the wing goes off to the master, another wing goes out to the bathroom. And so, these are, as I said, things that it's a little over the top. And to turn around, there's too many that I could just see easily getting tied up in your Board of Health, so.
so nothing's actually changed in this from our existing current bedroom definition. So we've already, for decades and decades and decades, counted media rooms, offices, sewing rooms. Nothing's changed.
How about this thing is studies? How about,
Those have always been counted as a bedroom in Harwich for the entirety,
really? How long?
at least since the 60s and 70s.
No, that's not correct, because the fact is that I have a home that I know that wasn't the case, so.
If
And
it-
that was only 20 years ago.
I'm not going to fight with you. I'm
No,
just
no, I'm just
explaining to
saying.
the board that
Yeah. No,
this
I'm
has
just-
been an existing definition, and
I think
there's very
it's
few
also
changes to this. to your
A change
existing one.
of, basically, people who run the Board of Health at different times saw things a little differently too, so that's all. But, no, as I said, I will have my attorney take a look at that, just so that, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I will admit that, so. But, okay, that's all.
I just want to make a statement. Most of this is, or I think all of this is coming out of the state building code.
Not, part of it's from the state building code. The rest of it's either Title V or surrounding towns, what they use as well.
So in other words, so I guess what I'm questioning is, this isn't something that we, the board, have made up,
Generated on our own.
generated on our own. In other words, it's either coming from,
So you've decided what eliminates privacy. So for privacy elimination, where your definition already says 4-foot cased opening for existing construction or 5-foot cased opening for new construction, other towns have 6 or 7 feet. So the privacy elimination is something that the board would change and is different for each town. But the 70 square feet
that was in-
ventilations, that's the state code.
That's the state, yes.
that one is.
That is correct. No. Okay, well,
All
thank you
right.
very much.
So then, it is, what I'm going to say is A, on page, the last page, the removal of privacy door. Is that the only part of this that the town has created? In other words, is that ours?
Well, the whole thing the town created, but they're all from existing codes.
Other than this one? Is that the one you said the removal of privacy door and construction of a minimum?
A through E.
Oh, A through E.
Yeah, A through E.
A through E, all
And
right.
the front part, those are from Title V.
All right, all right. All right, so then, but this will come, this is one that we would have
Another hearing on.
another a public hearing. All right, all right. Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
But it's really not different from what you already have in existence.
Yeah, all right. All right, I would just ask another question. Is that something that should be looked at, do you think?
Should what be looked at?
Like you're saying, some of the towns might have a bigger opening or is there something that we should consider changing?
I think ours are the most reasonable. I think like a 6 or 7 foot cased opening is not necessarily reasonable.
All right.
I think a 5 foot cased opening does its job of eliminating privacy. You're welcome to discuss that, but.
Now, is that something that would come before our board, or would that go before planning?
So, nope, it comes during the review process. So when a septic permit or a building permit comes in, the health department reviews the floor plans.
That's right, because it's based on bedrooms.
Correct, in the septic system.
In the septic.
Yeah, all right.
So when we make the review, we use the definition, and if someone comes before us with a media room or study or office, and the septic, we would count that as a bedroom, and if the septic couldn't accommodate it, they could appeal to you guys if they don't like our decision, even though we're using your definition. So it would then be up to you, once they appeal, to say,
All right, and we're saying that if that room had, was private, had an opening, had ventilation, heating, lighting, does it have to have a closet?
nope,
No, it just has to, just have those basic
very,
necessities.
very basic, 70
Could be
square feet.
considered, so what we're basically saying is you could take something that's, one person is using as an office,
Well,
and somebody
an
else
office
could.
is a bedroom, technically.
Yes, that's what I'm saying, is that theoretically, then somebody could come in and make it a bedroom. Even though somebody's using it as an office.
Correct.
Somebody else could use it as a bedroom, so that's why we have the definition we
Yes.
do. All right. That
And
makes
this has been pre-existent for a long time.
Right.
This is nothing new. Media room studies, everything have been counted as bedrooms for a long
It's
time.
been the norm for a long
For
time.
the- Yes.
All right, okay,
Okay.
all right. So then with this, we're not voting on this because we're going to have a hearing?
So this is a hearing now. So you, in theory, could close it if you want to now. I don't think that's a good idea. I think you should keep it open for another
Another
go
month.
around.
All right.
Um,
Do we make a motion to do that, to keep it open?
you'd make a motion to continue it to a date and time certain. I don't know, is there time to do the September meeting?
We would have to check to see if they continue it to a date and time certain, if we have to do another
Legal post,
notice.
oh, yeah, we don't think we do.
You're right.
Yeah,
because it's
okay.
continue to a date and time certain.
Yeah, so you can continue it to a date and time certain, so the next meeting would be September 20th at 6:30 PM. No earlier than 6:30 PM.
All right, the clerk can make the motion?
Okay. We'd like to let's see, how am I gonna word this? Okay. The public hearing to solicit public comment on the proposed Town of Harwich Board of Health code regulation to supplement the Title V State Environmental Code bedroom definition for the purpose of sizing a septic system and for building permit review. We're gonna postpone that until September
Continue.
20th.
Continue it to
Continue it till September 20th, 2022.
no earlier than 6:30 PM.
No earlier than 6:30 PM.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Okay, vote?
Aye.
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 Just one comment on that. Mr. McGowan, I couldn't understand what his gist of his complaint was.
There was two. The first one was that it would count as bedrooms, which we already do.
Right.
And the second, he misread that they have the right to come before you to appeal for a smaller septic system that doesn't negatively
Okay.
impact public health.
That's what I make sure. Thank you.
Would, in your packet for next week, next meeting, excuse me, do you want a copy of your existing in there as well as some of the surrounding towns, just so you can
Yes,
see
just
them?
we can have a
Yeah,
comparison,
that would be,
yes.
that would be helpful, just,
Comparison, yes.
yeah.
So what that guy wasn't understanding is that a room can be considered anything if it has privacy and meets the square footage.
And that's nothing new.
Yeah. It has to, yeah, it has to be that the square footage, the lighting, the ventilation. I think it doesn't even have to have heat, does it? For some reason, I thought I saw that.
Well, it's easy to just throw in like a mini split, something like
Yeah.
that, and then it has heat.
Yeah. All right. All right. The next one is the, I've lost my place here. You want to read the one?
Show cause hearing?
Mm-hmm.
Is there anyone on?
You want to read B?
Sure. Show cause hearing to discuss non-compliance with 105 CMR 410-000, minimum standards of fitness for human habitation violation issued on July 6, 2022, and not, in a non-compliance with the 105 CMR 410.820, inspection upon request dated July 18, 2022, vote to accept, deny, take under consideration.
All right. I open the hearing.
I
Um,
don't believe anyone's present. Is anyone present online for the hearing? I don't believe they're here for the hearing.
All right. All right, any comments or questions from the board? I'll start with Kevin.
I mean, I know, as you said earlier, just because of staffing, these things do take a while, you know, to get moving, and, you know, when I sat down and read everything and looked through and saw some of the pictures on here, you know, I almost feel like, you know, giving them until October 1st is being pretty kind,
Pretty generous.
all things considered. I think that is a maximum, I think, of what I would let slide. I mean, you take a look at the pictures, and I'm not sure if everybody took a look. I mean, and I read, you know, that she works for one of the schools doing gardening and building sheds and everything else, but, you know, these buckets are sitting there and there's nothing but dead grass in them. That's not something that's currently being used to facilitate or create something that is, you know, beneficial as a business. So, you know, with the amount that it seems like the orders have just been blatantly ignored, and I would almost even say, like, I believe there was a recommendation for October 1st. I'd be comfortable finding this house starting in September.
Sure.
It's just been it's when we started last October.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I understand, like, the time things, but there's plenty of documented communication, and whether we can get out there to do it or not is one thing, but I mean, I feel like we've given them enough time already. I feel like September 1st would be perfectly fine to start laying down fines to get this taken care of, because
Second.
otherwise, I think the more we postpone it, the more people are just gonna say, all right, they're not gonna do anything yet.
That's right.
I think we just need to
Matt,
cut the
any-
head off the snake.
Matt, any comments?
I mean, it's pretty egregious what they're doing. You've spent a lot of time and effort trying to help them remediate the situation. They don't want to do it.
We always work with people first. It's always a last resort to bring it to you guys, but we always put a lot of effort in to try to help them.
It's clear that you have.
Yeah.
You know,
I kind of agree with Kevin. I think we should make it September 1st. That'll give them
Alright,
2
and-
weeks, and, I mean, really, I mean, it's been going on since, what, last November, last October?
Yeah,
I mean, this is, I mean,
See some of the other notifications, it wasn't even like they had to finish it, they needed to show that they started, and they didn't even do that, so
they're not here today either
yeah.
to defend themselves.
I do have a little bit of a loss of sympathy at that point.
Yes, all right, my comment would have been, I was willing to go to maybe the middle of September, but I thought October was a little too long, considering this has been going on
Been
since.
going on too long.
Yes. All right, so, you want to make a motion?
Well, let Kevin make it, because
All right,
he
Kevin?
made the first comment.
Well, yeah, so, where was the recommendation? I know how I wanted to adjust.
It was in here.
Do you need a copy?
Fine.
You wanna pass it
To have
down?
it handy. I'll pass that down to Kevin.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the one. So I move to require that the owner schedule an inspection of the interior of the dwelling with the health department no later than September 1st. I guess we're pushing that. I don't even, so if we're scheduling, so if they schedule the inspection, so that, it doesn't mean that the inspection has to be, they have to
Long as
have it on the books? Okay. So I move to require that the owner schedule an inspection of the interior of the dwelling with the health department no later than September 1st. So that means they have to have the inspection on the record. They still have to have it done by September 1st. Okay. If the owner fails to comply, then direct health department staff to pursue an administrative search warrant through the court system. Additionally, require the owner to reduce the collection of items by at least half in order to remediate the harborage of rodents and pests as deemed appropriate by the health agent by September 1st, 2022. If not cleaned up by that date, to pursue non-criminal disposition fines.
I think what do you mean by half?
Yeah, I was going to just
I think we
say,
should probably.
So we were working with them on removing at least, get rid of half of the stuff,
Clean the
let's
whole
start
thing-
there.
Clean the whole thing up.
You were saying like go with them.
Clean the whole thing up,
Yeah.
not go half.
Oh,
Because
I
that just
see what
leaves
you-
a bunch of stuff still there.
'Cause you are allowed to have some of your own, like, containers, you know, and then we, there's a fine line of, like, where they have rights to their property, you know? They,
It's a public nuisance.
um,
And plus it's disrespect to the board.
yeah.
Because we've been
not
talking
here.
about this since what,
yeah,
last October?
Yeah.
Last November?
I mean, honestly, even if they reduce this by half, you still have a health hazard.
Clean it all up?
Clean it all up.
If we showed up to fire at that house, we would not go in. It's putting us at risk, so we wouldn't go in.
That's a good
It's that
point,
much
Matt.
a hazard.
Matt makes a good point.
all right,
Terrific point.
all right. So do you want, should we have him repeat it, or
He can amend the motion.
to make it?
So I amend the motion to state that the owner should reduce the collection of items in its entirety to remediate the harborage for rodents and pests as deemed appropriate by the health agent by September 1st, 2022.
Second? Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now,
Aye.
Can we send another,
We will. This notice will go certified.
okay, certified, they have to sign for it then.
Or that checks off that they refuse to sign.
Okay.
Oh.
They also have a different one that you'll see in your packet. So they'll either like have the card
Okay,
like
that's
this
what I
that
want.
comes back,
Good,
or there's, the digital version that looks like this.
all right, that's fine, good, next week, it's in the packet, okay, just wanna make sure, okay. Yeah, let's get it settled, because yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's enough
I think
clear,
yes.
documented back and forth, and
And, that's,
It
given
just-
a
it just
lot
seems
of
like it was
chances.
just ignored,
well, the disrespect is what bothers me
Yeah.
the most.
yes.
plus the refuge and stuff, you
Yes.
know.
All right, let's move on
Going.
to the health director's report for the month of August.
All right, so unfortunately, Massachusetts had the first case of West Nile. None have been on Cape Cod, fortunately, so far, but it's been a really dry, hot summer, so hopefully we won't see it make its way down to the Cape. Monkeypox has officially been declared a public health emergency. We will continue to monitor the situation and keep the board informed as information develops.
Are there any cases of monkeypox on the Cape?
Yeah, I was
And on the Cape, yes, in Harwich, no.
but there has been, do we know how many on the Cape?
So they're not releasing the numbers.
All right,
They don't want each town to put numbers out. Barnstable County as a whole does have cases. They haven't told us how many, but Harwich does not.
okay.
There are a few state press releases in here about, West Nile, monkeypox. The Public Health Excellence Grant is something that the town takes part of. They have asked for all the staff contacts and also wanted us to reach out to board members and see if any board members want to partake and just get information. There's some surveys. There's absolutely no requirement to do so, but if you're interested in putting your email address forward, let me know and
Yes.
I'll forward it to them, but there's absolutely no requirement to do so. As I mentioned earlier, we're planning our flu and COVID booster clinics for this fall. We are hopefully having them, the public ones, October 4th and 11th, but we're just waiting on final confirmation for the VNA. They'll be drive-through style. We'll have both high dose and regular flu vaccine. We don't know which specific COVID booster we'll have at the moment, but we will have COVID boosters that are open. An employee and board clinic will be available September 29th if anyone wants to put that on their calendar.
What was that again?
September 29th. And we'll send out the registration links. It's all online. We don't have them quite yet.
All right.
Carrie and I both attended the One Cape Summit at Wauquasit, which was really fantastic. It was a really informational session, a lot of great networking, and it was a really good opportunity. And the last thing I have for the health director report, the last document in that provided to you are called On Your Time trainings, and these are free public health trainings through the BU School of Public Health. It's a really interesting program. I attached just some of the classes that they have available if anyone's interested, but they're really good information, will really help you stay informed as a board if anyone is interested in doing those.
So that's where the information on the Title V is?
Yes,
Yeah,
yep.
that you mentioned here. Yeah, I wanna do that. Yeah, all right. I did go through all of these, when I first got on the board, but having been on the board for a while, it would be nice to go back and do it again, because I think I would learn more. So, yeah, and I think you had the link here, right?
Yes, yep, if you type it in, it's on the top. On your time trainings through the
Oh,
local
up here,
public
the very
health
top of the
institute.
page. Yes, all right, up here. Yeah, all right. All right. Moving on to correspondence, and we have no correspondence. The permits,
So there are new ones on here. We have a new massage therapist and salon. We have a new food truck and a new Title V inspector, as well as a new event permit. And everyone has been inspected already.
What's a Dogana retreat?
It's olive oil.
Oh,
You wouldn't guess that.
sorry.
okay,
Okay.
all right. Do we,
Where's Capeside Kitchen? That's mobile food.
Yep, so it's the food truck, but it's, their brick and mortar is
Okay.
on Route 28.
Okay, very good.
do we have a motion to accept the permits?
Make a motion to accept permits as listed.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Ron?
Yes.
Yes. And aye. All right. Okay, 10, other. I'm not sure what other is.
If you board members had anything that you wanted to, like a board report.
Oh, all right. Does anybody have anything they want to report? Ron?
Nope.
Kevin?
I do not.
I don't either. Do I have a motion to close the meeting?
I'll make a motion to close.
Second the motion?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right.
Good. 7:30 on the dot.
Great.
Wasn't bad.
Good job, Sharon.
Well,
Girl, Sharon.
Like it, right, run them very tight.
That girl, Sharon, keep it up.
I still, as often as I went over this, I still
You
like,
did great.
That's good.
First
Okay.
meeting, we already have a meeting run card. Like 15 years.
Your marching order.
There you go. Girl. All right.
hopefully the next one, which, you know what, I don't know that I can make September.
Can you come virtually?
I can do that,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. I
So if
can-
Pam can make it, she would be the physical chair, and then you can log in.
All right, all right. I might be, I might be, I won't know. I think we're gonna be back in Pennsylvania